Do you hate the thought of working past 55 or 60? Do you hate not being able to live the life you deserve today? Do you hate not knowing what your financial future looks like? It's time to stop doing what you hate. Here's your host, Mr. Harold Green.
Aloha, everybody. This is Harold Green, and it is time to stop doing what you hate. How is everyone doing? I hope you are feeling fantastic and as fresh as a cucumber. Kind of funny. I was kind of thinking about that today. I've heard that phrase before, as fresh as a cucumber, but I guess it means when you snap the cucumber, it's all tight and everything. But anyway, I digress. Again, I do hope you are having a fantastic day. I have something super excited that I want to share with you guys today. And again, we're going to be focusing on the Rapid Retire program. So inside of the program, there's a couple of different phases in there, or three. There's three main components, but I'll tell you the title of my show before I read off some stuff for you. But it's going to be performance, performance, performance. That's right. Performance, performance, performance. It's like saying location, location, location in real estate. In the investment world, it's all about performance, because if you don't perform, you are failing on some level or the other. There are no guarantees in the market. However, sometimes I don't feel like I'm treated that way by the clients. It seems like everyone is expecting, way more than they're getting. Not everybody, but I do have a handful of people saying, "Hey, that's great. You made me 50%, but what about more?" So I just kind of look at that and chuckle, and I understand where they're coming from. We're in a situation in the market where, as I speak of today, things are just on fire and absolutely crazy. And it can make us forget sight of what's really important, what we are supposed to be doing, and that all investing in carries risk of loss, right? So you're going to have to go make sure you do your due diligence on what it is that you are getting yourself into. So performance, performance, performance. And inside the Rapid Retire, we have three main components that will help you perform: cash flow management, cash reserve systems, and income generation. Those are the three pillars of a successful plan, and I've put it together in Rapid Retire. Cash reserves ought to be adequate, accessible, after tax, and always there. And then also in your cash flow management, you need a system of tracking your inflows, your outflows, and also your performance, which is very important. In income generation, you need to understand how to position your assets so that they are generating income for you. So are you guys ready? 1, 2, 3, let's get it. So I want to do a little bit of a performance evaluation on some of the things that I've been working on, and today's not going to be an entirely long show. It's going to be short, sweet, and to the point. And again, investing carries a risk of loss. And so I'm going to talk about different stocks and things like that, different accounts and things like that. And I'm not advising you guys to go out there and try to put together portfolios that have any of the stuff that I'm going to tell you about, because you have to understand the level of risk and how to put these stocks together in a meaningful way that would generate you potential positive return. So I want to get into some evaluation. And in my last show, Risk, Value, Growth, Oh My, we talked about how to analyze your risk and how you could be investing above or below your risk tolerance, and you really don't know, because no one's really sat down and taken the time to explain how you should be situated. And so for my retirees, most of them anyway, we have positions in their accounts that are short-term, long-term, intermediate. You must have short-term, long-term, and intermediate positions in your portfolio. And so I want to just kind of look at some portfolios that I've put together for my Rapid Retire program. And there's different models in there. So we have different models in there that would make up an overall, say, allocation. We have short-term conservative, we have long-term ultra 2, ultra 3, large cap specialty blend 1. And it's just a mix of many different types of stocks in these portfolios that have different risk scores and that are kind of designed to do different things at different points in time. And so it's a very complicated, very technical process of evaluating holdings and what to put in them, just to make sure, when we have downturns, there's balances in the portfolio so that things don't burn up like, when we went through the coronavirus. So in the Long-term ultra model, there's basically about five or six different portfolios in there. Aggressive growth blend, consumer discretionary blend, consumer technology, high value growth, large cap 10, large cap specialty blend, and then moderate income. So in the aggressive growth blend, it's basically stocks that are aggressively growing and blended with stocks that also, pay dividends or income. Okay. So looking at the aggressive growth blend for the last 3 months, it generated a return of 12.94% in the last 3 months. That's aggressive growth blend. Consumer discretionary blend, that's another portfolio that I've built. It has different things in there like the foodies. We have food stocks in there, stocks that basically people go out to eat at restaurants and anything kind of, dealing with the consumer like shopping, just all kinds of stuff. So it's a really neat portfolio. And the return on that was about like 19.3%. Again, past performance is no indicator of future results. Today is just a performance review of what has happened in the past 3 months. And we're looking at an actual client account. And I do put a lot of clients in the same type of models based on the risk score. And if we're in the short-term bucket, everybody's kind of like the same in the short-term bucket. The long-term bucket's the same. Intermediate bucket is the same because the time frame and time horizons are the same with a couple of different variations based on the risk score. So 19.22% over the last 3 months, that's not a bad deal. Then we move on to consumer technology. Consumer technology, it's kind of been up and down over the last 3 months. And so, for the whole entire year, consumer technology has generated a return. I think it's like 51% in this client's particular account, only because at one point they wanted out of, the aggressive portfolios and into something more conservative. And so we do go in and out based on client requests and things of that nature. So their return, I think, in that portfolio for the last year was 51.47%, which is not too bad. It's a very, very, very aggressive portfolio. And then we have high value growth. And again, we talked about growth versus value in the last show. And this particular portfolio that I've built, I built it off of the coronavirus downturn when things were going really, really bad. So the return on this portfolio in the last 3 months is 34.57%. But if we go back for a year, it's about, this client has only had it in their portfolio since October. I think October or September 22nd of last year, and it's up 42.62%, and that's high value growth. Then we get into large cap 10. That's another portfolio that I've built. That one is up at about 5.6% for the last 3 months. And large cap specialty blend, that one is up 26.11%. Again, there's a lot of funky stocks in there, things that people probably have not heard of before that's out there. And so there's a gazillion stocks out there, and you have to analyze a lot of them through screeners and look at different metrics before throwing them in a particular portfolio. And then we have our moderate income portfolio. And moderate income is more of a conservative portfolio that doesn't have a lot of risk in it. And it's done basically 4.93% over the last, I would say, 3 months. And so let's see here, the last 3 months, 4.9% over the last 3 months. So that's not a bad ordeal. And so these are some of the performances on the long-term ultra portfolio. And then for some clients, we have accounts where we're just managing it based on future goals, and it's not part of the bucket process in Rapid Retire. It's just accounts that they're using to generate things to do different things with. Okay, so looking at one account that we set up, I think it was last year around September, maybe August. So not too bad on this one, 28.96%. Again, this is just a performance review, looking back at where things are. And in this portfolio, we have Verizon, we have Delta, Royal Caribbean, Travel Centers, Amazon, Adobe, Microsoft, NVIDIA, Sam Adams Beer, Sleep Number, which is a very interesting one. People didn't really think, I guess they slept on Sleep Number, if I could put it bluntly. And since we put it in the portfolio, it's up 15.81%. Apple's in there, MGM is in there, Chipotle Mexican Grill. I had a client ask me the other day, why Chipotle Mexican Grill? And, for me, when I look at these stocks, again, you analyze them based on revenues and, growth potential. And there's software that I subscribe to that helps me analyze these things. And, going through all of that, I have my, technical and fundamental reasons, but then also I have my, my causality or causation or, causes in regards to how I think about things. And for me, once coronavirus hit, Chipotle was one of the first companies to really get out ahead of it. Curbside pickups, all of that. And the technology, they really just adopted technology and just went all at it. And so again, when you're looking at stocks, you have to understand like where they are and then the companies and where are they going to go. Park Hotels and Resorts, that's another one of my coronavirus picks. Another one was Stitch Fix, and that's a IPO that came out, and a really neat company. And since buying them, they're up 48%, which is very interesting. It's just like phenomenal, just kind of based on where things are. And there's a couple of different more in there, but it's very interesting the times that we're in. And I always tell clients, if you really want to be successful, you must take advantage of your opportunities. And right now is a great time to take advantage of putting your retirement account in a position where you can maximize the returns. And one of the things we talked about in the 5-year guide to retirement was if your 401k allows you to set up a brokerage link in your custodian, like Fidelity allows it. I think there's a couple of more, but it's few because these employers don't want people putting their whole 401k in Tesla stock. And it's funny because you can't find these brokerage links in certain types of corporations. And it's kind of sad how, I hear the media talk about things where, people are in this position or people are in that position and, somebody ought to help them and on and on and on. But when I look and I pull the curtain back, it's things like this. Your 401k sucks, right? People are trapped with sucky 401ks or sucky options in their 401k based on whatever reason that their company has determined that they're not smart enough or they're not wise enough to handle a brokerage link tied to their 401k. I think that's sad. I see medical professionals allowed to do it. I see certain other companies allowed to do it. But it's, and a lot of the risk sometimes comes back on the employer because they are, in fact, a fiduciary. So like if you're an employer and your employees are not responsible to handle a brokerage link, you would be like committing suicide to add it. But in some cases, I've seen brokerage links added where they allow more mutual funds than just in the single plan, up to 4,000 mutual funds these people can choose from in the brokerage link. And I think certain Vanguard allows it, but it just really depends on the employer. And so if you're allowed to have a brokerage link, that's a very phenomenal thing. And then I can manage that for you as I've done with a lot of my clients. And we've seen some phenomenal results by being able to invest in actual stocks in the market. And the neat thing is we can buy and sell without having to pay long-term capital gains. And also, there's some other neat features inside of their plan. And so performance, we are in a phenomenal market. I have no idea how long it's going to last, but we need to take advantage of our opportunities based on the level of risk. And, if you're out there and you are looking to retire the next 5 to 10 years, you got to get in contact with me. I really think there's a lot of things coming down the pipe, and we really need to get ourselves prepared to walk away from a job that is no longer serving us, a job or a situation that is draining us. We want to live our best life. And if we haven't already lived our best life, maybe that's something we can do and start to maybe volunteer or, start our own business or start something that really helps the community and maybe giving back to the community. So I want to be able to put you in position to do that. And Rapid Retire is something that I have designed to help get us there. All right. So thanks for tuning in. Performance. Go evaluate your holdings. And if you don't like what you see, or you just want me to look at things and see if we can do better, let me know. 808-521-4401. And until next time, everybody, 1, 2, 3, let's get it.
This is thepodcastfactory.com.